Russia's attack on Ukraine has been going on for a year and a half, and the war that has caused the most damage to the region is Europe. Russia's fight is not only with Ukraine, but with a whole block of countries. In February 2022, when Russia attacked Ukraine, in response, NATO countries decided to stay behind and fight this war instead of attacking Russia openly. Russia is a nuclear superpower, and it can be very dangerous to get in direct contact with it. Therefore, Western countries began to supply weapons of billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight against Russia. And on the other hand, Russia's banks, companies, and people began to impose sanctions on them. Western countries thought they would force Russia to step back from the Ukraine war through these sanctions. But maybe they forgot that Russia has such a weapon that it can collapse the biggest economy in Europe. And that weapon is these gas pipelines. The whole of Europe meets its 25% energy requirements with gas, and the 50% gas supply of the whole of Europe comes from only one country, Russia. The biggest buyer of Russian gas and oil in Europe is Germany. When the European Union began to impose sanctions on Russia, Germany shut down all kinds of trade with Russia except for gas and oil supply. And the reason for that is by April 2022, 55% of gas and 35% of oil imports for Germany were being imported from Russia. So Germany knew very well that if it shut down gas and oil from Russia, its economy would collapse in months. Not only that, but after the Russian-Ukraine war, Germany has been paying Russia millions of euros per day for gas. This payment is much more than the financial aid that Germany was giving to Ukraine. So if we look at it, Germany was indirectly funding Russia to fight against Ukraine. Why is Germany so dependent on Russia to fulfill the world's fourth largest economy energy requirements? What is the effect of Russia's reaction on Europe internally? And what will be the result of all of this? Let's find out the answer to all these questions in this video. The whole world is going towards renewable energy, but the problem is that the climate in Germany is very different. There is no such hot area which can be benefited from solar energy. And if we talk about wind energy, then there is no such place in Germany where the winds are very strong, a small area which is in some parts of Germany where electricity is generated from the air. But it is not proving to be any benefit for Germany. Germany has only one resource, which is extremely valuable, and that is coal. Germany has the world's 7th largest coal reserves. Today, about 30% of energy is generated from coal. Because of this coal, Germany progressed after World War II and started the journey of industrialization after World War II in 1950. As the economy of Germany began to recover, Germany needed a lot of energy resources. Germany was only rich in coal. But the problem with coal is that it produces a lot of pollution. Germany's steel industry and chemical industry were progressing very much, but they needed an extremely high energy resource. Meanwhile, in 1953, a large natural gas reserve was discovered in Siberia. The Soviet government began to set up pipelines to distribute this gas to the Soviet cities. This work was completed only in a few years. However, there was a lot of demand for this gas outside the Soviet Union, and the biggest buyer of this was Europe. Because there are no such reserves of natural gas in Central Europe, and therefore there was a lot of demand for natural gas coming out of Russia in Europe. And in return, Russia needed a lot of the amount that was to be received from Europe. In the same way, this business agreement was made, and distributing pipelines was started. Now, the problem was that these pipelines needed a lot of investment to reach Europe. Then in 1979, the German chancellor introduced a new foreign policy in Germany, the aim of which was to bring the Soviet Union and Germany closer to each other. Under this policy, Germany and the Soviet Union made a deal in which the Soviet Union would give gas to Germany. With this, Germany would be able to fulfill all of its industry needs. In return, West Germany would give the Soviet Union high-quality steel to distribute these pipelines. In reality, natural gas, coal, and oil are the 3 largest energy resources in the world, through which the whole world and industry are running at the moment. But coal and oil can be transported anywhere in the world by sea ships. But it is very difficult to transport natural gas to any other place without pipelines. And making these pipelines is also very expensive, long, and difficult work. That is why gas projects are 20-30 years long. By 1990, the Soviet Union supplied 40% of the gas to Germany. Then in 1991, the Soviet Union broke down, and Russia's main gas pipelines, which were passing through Ukraine, had a lot less control over gas pipelines. To deal with this problem, Russia started new pipeline projects. In 1999, Russia started another pipeline from Belarus to Germany, and then in 2005, these two countries started another pipeline from the Baltic Sea directly to Germany. This pipeline is called the Nord Stream. This was the pipeline after which Germany became heavily dependent on Russia. So now Russia's gas was reaching Europe and Germany through these three routes. The trade was going great, Europe was getting gas in large quantities, and Russia was getting a lot of money. But this was going to change very soon. In 2014, when Russia attacked eastern Ukraine, Europe started imposing sanctions on Russia. Countries started looking at Russia's alternative for gas and oil this time. But Germany remained dependent on Russia's gas. It started buying more gas from Russia, and this continued. Then finally, in September 2022, Russia shut down all the pipelines that were sending gas to Europe and Germany. And then a great storm broke out in Germany due to gas shortages. Energy prices jumped in Germany, and when energy prices go up, then prices of everything go up. Now, you must be wondering why Germany is so dependent on Russia. Germany has some alternatives. So now if we talk about Germany's coal reserves, then the problem is that coal is the most polluting energy source in the world. That is why in 2019, Germany signed an agreement with the world that it would shut down all coal plants in the next 20 years. And in this way, the only energy resource that Germany had was of no use. Germany had another alternative source, which was to generate electricity through atomic energy. But after the terrible earthquake in Japan in which one atomic house was severely damaged, Germany decided to shut down all its atomic power plants in the coming few years. And that is why Germany has shut down many of its atomic power plants already. Now Germany has only one option left through which it can get rid of Russia's gas, and that is LNG, liquefied natural gas. But the problem with Germany is that it has not made any LNG terminal for it. Because it is a very long and expensive job, but in a rich country like Germany, which can afford any kind of investment, why has it been unable to make LNG terminals? And the reason for this is that the gas it was getting from Russia was extremely cheap, and it was paying for it and running its entire industry with it. And this was a business deal that kept Russia and Germany together. But after the Ukraine war, this deal is going to end under the pressure of the world. And this is the reason that Germany has now begun to look at other countries, even if Germany takes gas from Qatar. And the gas coming from Qatar will cost Germany a lot more than the gas coming from Russia, and it will take some time to make LNG terminals for this. If we talk about the effect of this war on Russia, Russia has suffered a lot in this. And the reason for this is that the payment of billions of dollars from Europe has stopped, and now Russia needs a new country to sell more gas. That is why Russia is looking at other countries like India and China. But there is also a problem with this. The way gas was sent through pipelines in Europe, gas will also be sent through pipelines in China and India. However, it will take a lot of time to distribute the pipelines and their security, and it will take many years. And the price of the gas coming from Europe and the price of the gas coming from the countries of Asia is very different. Because the price coming from Europe was very high, Asian countries were not buying gas at that price. This has shaken Russia, and Russia wants Germany to continue this route and keep getting the payment. If you liked today's video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.